this happen, Jennifer?
Matt, I've never seen any. It looks like a movie. I saw a large plane, like a jet, going immediately headed directly into the World Trade Center. It just flew into it, into the other tower, coming from south to north. I watched the plane fly into the World Trade Center. It was a jet. It was a very large plane. It was going fast. It went past the Ritz-Carlton Hotel that's being built in Battery Park. It flew right past it, almost hit it, and then went in.
I was at Montini on September 11, 2001. In the morning I didn't have a class. When we first heard the news and we had no idea exactly what was going on, and one of the things I remember the most was that not knowing what was coming next, and we didn't know were there going to be multiple attacks, would Chicago be attacked?
I was a junior in high school. I was one of the main office helpers, just kind of like stuffing envelopes, doing some running around, things like that. And somebody had come in from one of their classes and made the comment that they had heard about this plane hitting a building. That was the first one, and that was, I believe, first period. And then the third period, a little bit later, when I was in my Spanish 3 class, we had actually put on the TV, and for pretty much the entire class period, we're watching videos and stuff of it. And I saw, right after it happened, the second plane hit, and that's kind of when it kind of hit a lot of people that there was really something wrong going on. It was no accident, no mistake, that it had been well planned out and thought out what had happened.
Oh my goodness.
Oh God.
There's another one. Oh my goodness, there's another one.
Seems to be on purpose.
Oh my goodness, now it's obvious, I think, that there's a second plane.
I remember 9/11 because I was in first grade, and it was one day that they wouldn't let us go out to recess. And after school had ended and I was back at my house, I remember because I turned on the TV and the first thing that showed was the plane impacting and the towers falling down.
Well, I think like most kids my age, we were all in second or first grade or third grade, and we couldn't have had any idea what was going on at the time. We barely had the concept of America or like terrorism or anything or violence beyond that point. So really, all we could remember were just adults running around, parents coming to pick us up, and barren skies. We live right by O'Hare Airport, but that was one thing. Just empty skies.
Confusion, and a lot of people had actually thought that, because when I first found out about the first plane, some people thought it was just an accident, something had gone wrong with the flight. It wasn't until later on in the day that, or the morning, when the second plane hit, that they really knew that something was up, something was wrong.
disbelief. I mean, you never would think that somebody could be that organized to hijack planes and crash them into buildings, hit the Pentagon. I mean, you just don't think of stuff like that. You know, my first reaction was when a plane hit was, well, it's just like any other plane accident. You know, an amateur flying, lost control, ran into a building. Not a big deal. You hear about them crashing into houses, farms, and stuff. So, being in New York, like Chicago, there's a lot of buildings, so that didn't surprise me. But when the second one hit and they said what was going on, that was very scary. It was like, you know, going from the tough guy in the block now to being the little guy, because the United States was always invulnerable to attack since Pearl Harbor. So
I had one of the school administrators tell me that a plane had hit one of the World Trade Center towers, and I'm picturing like a little Cessna or something like that, and some, you know, sort of hobby pilot who went off course and accidentally hit it. I had no idea that it could be a big jetliner full of people, and that it could be targeted at the tower on purpose. So it was a complete shock at first.
It was kind of frightening to see people running and screaming and crying, and seeing people actually jumping from the towers when they knew that they had no choice left was a very scary, scary sight to see that people had, to see that they knew that there was nothing else left that they could do, because it had gotten that bad. The other thing too is to see how quickly people came together and really united in such a terrible time, to really come together to help each other. That was, I think, one of the biggest things emotionally, in a good and bad way. You know, that it takes something that drastic to get people to unite, but the fact that they actually did was a big thing.
The main reason that I wanted to speak tonight is not to tell you what the show's going to be, not to tell you about all the incredibly brave people that are here in New York and in Washington and around the country, but we've had an unenduring pain here, and unendurable pain, and I wanted to tell you why I grieve, but why I don't despair. The reason I don't despair is because this attack happened. It's not a dream. But the aftermath of it, the recovery, is a dream realized. And that is Martin Luther King's dream. Whatever barriers we've put up are gone, even if it's just momentary. And we're judging people by not the color of their skin, but the content of their character. And you know, all this talk about these guys are criminal masterminds. They've gotten together and their extraordinary guile and their wit and their skill. It's a lie. Any fool can blow something up. Any fool can destroy. But to see these guys, these firefighters, these policemen, and people from all over the country, literally with buckets, rebuilding, that's extraordinary. And that's why we've already won. They can't, it's light. It's democracy. We've already won. They can't that down. They live in chaos. And chaos, it can't sustain itself. It never could. It's too easy and it's too unsatisfying. The view from my apartment was the World Trade Center. And now it's gone. And they attacked it. This symbol of American ingenuity and strength and labor and imagination and commerce, and it is gone. But you know what the view is now? The Statue of Liberty. The view from the south of Manhattan is now the Statue of Liberty. You can't beat that.